Okay, no. Here's what they should have done. It's the final scene. He pulls up in a limo. It's Bruce Wayne's limo.
Yeah.
George Clooney comes out. All right, and then you get through whole like, what? Going crazy. And then cut to the credits. And then everybody sits through the credits. And then, by the way, did you know that apparently Ben Affleck wasn't in the credits? Like, he's not credited.
What?
Apparently.
Good.
Got him.
Yeah, got him. Anyway, here's what happens. You have the limo pull up, and then it's like George Clooney comes out, okay? And then they're standing there, and then the after credit scene is, oh, and by the way, I have some friends too. And then Ben Affleck comes out, and then whatever the guy's name who played the Cyborg comes out, and then Wonder Woman comes out, and then Henry Cavill comes out, and while we're at it, here's Michael Shannon, folks, and then like you start hearing rounds of applause in the background, and then before you know it, there's like a whole line of people all standing, and then a curtain drops behind them,
And they just bow together.
and yeah, they just like do their bows, and then like everybody in the crowd and everybody in the theater cheers.
Nice. Yeah, that would have worked.
That's right, Chuck.
Hello there.
Just check up on my affections.
99 Nerds. We are here for episode 41. Another movie review coming at you hot. This one we all saw together as a fun group. It was us together in the movie theater. It was fun. We saw
Friendship.
Hi.
I love you!
Thank you.
The Flash featuring Ezra Miller, Sean,
As well as others.
and David. Yeah, and Teasy was there too. Shout out to Teasy.
Well, no, I mean like
In the
more
movie.
more than Ezra
Oh.
Miller was there in the movie.
Right. There was that one girl.
He was in it multiple times.
Oh my gosh. What does that even mean? We'll tell you about it.
Maybe gets
Needs
paid
multiple
twice.
deductions in the review.
Oh my gosh.
Sean, The Flash. How many
Say it.
flashes is it?
Ogre.
It was, so right off the bat, I'll say that of the three of us, I liked it probably the most,
You did.
which is not saying a lot because I didn't love it.
I was honestly surprised that you were the one who liked it the most.
I think I walked in with like super low expectations
Yeah.
and I don't know what I was expecting. And so I was pleasantly surprised when I did things I liked.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like when you go to a kid's play, like a fourth grade play or something.
Right.
And you're like, man, they're just trying so hard down there.
Oh man. So what would you give it 1 out of 10?
I have decided in my heart to give it a 6 out of 10,
Wow.
a 3 out of 5.
6 out of 10.
I thought you were going to go higher.
I did
honestly.
too.
No, no. I mean, I always have like my initial instinct, like gut reaction to a movie, but then if I sit on it for a little while, I come to get closer to what I think it was. So yeah, I'd say 6 out of 10.
You're persuading my rating. What do you think, David?
Oh my gosh, did you guys like it more than that?
You walked out of the theater liking it the most. My initial thought was a higher rating than 6 out of 10.
Well, dude, 60% is great. It's a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I guess so. What do you think, David?
What do you want it to have? A 4 out of 5?
I mean-
that's reserved for like John Wick 2.
Yeah,
Which
sure.
I don't know if that's what I would rate it, but I don't know.
Maybe.
I was excited to see this movie. I don't know why, because I don't like Ezra Miller.
Oh my gosh.
But I guess I forgot that I didn't like him. And then he started talking right away, and I remembered. And I thought, why did they go with this guy?
Always just knock you out, and then you won't have to panic.
Right, you just gotta knock
You just
people
let me
out.
know.
Yeah.
No? Yes?
What?
I hate his voice.
Not only go with him, but then stick with him through the drama.
Yeah, through all the legal issues.
But there's nothing you can do to help a person like that.
No, not him.
Poor Ezra. He needs help.
Yeah, I was really annoyed. Every time he talked, it really bothered me. And then, I mean, are we gonna just jump right into spoilers?
Yeah. Sean, do your AI spoiler thing right now.
Spoily boilies.
So, one, I don't like Ezra Miller. Two, they brought in another Ezra Miller. There are two versions of him in this movie. It took me about 45 minutes to kind of get over my dislike of him, and then I enjoyed it. It was good. It had some good references. They weren't the best references. I would have done it different, but it was a fun story. The storyline of his mom dying is kind of the whole plot to this movie. But I grew up watching the Flash TV show.
Yeah, that's
did.
the thing I was really curious about. You guys have a totally different context for the Flash than I did. I never watched that show.
It
apart
is
from
very
pulling
cheesy.
horribly cringy clips from it.
It is an awful cheesy show, but there are some storylines. There are some seasons that are very good, and I think they do a better job, which they have more time to tell the story. But
Yeah.
this story just didn't hit as hard, but it was still good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of funny. A lot of the jokes I didn't like, but it was the jokes you're not supposed to laugh at that I really laughed at. Batman was sweet. 2 out of 3 of them were.
Which Batman?
What's his face? Ben Affleck. I hate his suit in this one. And he looks super CGI'd. Like his face looked weird.
Yeah.
In his suit. I can't explain it. The CGI when he's running through the multiverse is whack, which was on purpose.
What's that called?
Apparently.
I read online that's called the Chrono Bowl,
Yeah.
which I didn't know if that until I figured it out. I kept thinking, what the heck is the Chrono Bowl? Like, is there something I missed? But it's like the time traveling zone he enters into.
Right.
So yeah, just generally, it was good. I would have done it different if I was in the writer's room. I would give it a 7.4
Wow. That's higher than I thought.
because I did enjoy it.
So I looked back at my Black Adam score, which was a 6.8, and I liked this movie more than Black Adam, which, again, I felt like you said more positive things about it than we did, but you gave it a 6. I guess I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, there was about 20 minutes of this movie that was really, really good, but everything else was either bad or mediocre.
But the thing is, nobody agrees what the best 20 minutes was.
I'll tell you right away.
What is it?
It's when they go to get Supergirl, and it's the big battle sequence with Supergirl, Batman, and the 2 Flashes. That's the best 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I like that.
In Russia?
Yeah. When they go to Russia and they get Supergirl.
Oh, not against Zod.
Oh,
That too.
my
Like
Oh, that
cumu-
20 minutes.
Cumulatively, that's about 20 minutes of the movie. Those 2, big
Sure.
sequences.
What if I told you the best 20 minutes is when he loses his powers and he's got to like finagle this other guy around?
So
who
yeah,
has
I'm coming from watching the Flash TV show where they over many seasons tell the story about his mom.
Right.
And I just watched the Flash Paradox cartoon movie, which is him going back in time to save his mom, which is what this movie is.
Flashpoint, you're talking about. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is. And in that, he changes things and he loses his powers and he has to go find Batman to get his powers back.
Right.
So I was thinking, holy cow, this is like the movie. And then
They took elements of it. They probably used like 15 to 20% of that storyline and then made it kind of their own, which there was a lot of creative elements in this movie that I thought really worked. I thought that the time travel Chromodome, is that what you called it?
Chrono Bowl.
Why? I don't know where I came up with that.
Chrome is like what is like an insult
Is
you
what-
use against robots and
no,
stuff.
what Finn says to Phasma.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Chrome Dome.
Let's go, Chrome Dome.
So the Chronodome, I thought that was a very unique take on how Flash actually visually sees himself traveling through time.
Okay.
It's getting dragged through the mud on the internet because of the PlayStation 2 level CGI, as people are calling it.
Yeah, that was the most striking thing about the movie to me is how terrible so much of the CGI is.
Yeah.
Like it's bad.
Yeah.
And people kept saying, "Oh, it's stylistic," and I'm like, "No, it's not."
No, it's bad.
It looks like it was like when did we see the movie? Thursday or Friday?
Thursday, yeah.
It looks like the CG was done on Tuesday.
Well, they were running out of time and they had a limited budget, I guess. That and like eventually, towards the end of the movie, we see the multiverse of all these other domes that are floating around. It's like the Flash's dome is destabilizing because he's breaking reality and it like cracks and splits open.
You got a chrono bowl that sits inside of a chrono ball.
Yes, yeah. And you can see all these other bowls and like you see Nicolas Cage as Superman. You see
I didn't pick up on that reference, and I can't stand the fascination with Nick Cage.
It's because before the, correct me if I'm wrong, Austin, you probably looked this up. There was the Brandon Routh Superman
Correct.
that came out years ago. Superman Returns.
Correct.
The movie, The Game.
Yeah.
And before that happened, there was originally a plan to have Nicolas Cage play Superman.
Yes.
And if I recall correctly, that was going to be more of like a darker, weird sci-fi.
Yeah.
He actually did screen testing in a costume and everything, and he had the long dark hair, and it was going to be like him fighting giant spiders and everything like that.
I forget who was going to do those movies.
Was it Kevin Smith or something like that?
No, maybe. Kevin Smith has talked about it, so I don't know if he was involved.
Okay.
But yeah, that was like a big thing where a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, those pictures hit the internet of Nick Cage in a suit. And it was like, what the heck is this? And it's like, oh yeah, this almost happened. We almost made Superman movies with Nick Cage. So as like a nod to the fans, they throw in this multiverse where Nick Cage is Superman. What was the first one they showed? I can't even remember.
It wasn't. It was like the old 1930s or something like that.
They showed
Superman.
the old Batman,
Adam West Batman.
Adam West Batman
from the 60s.
Yep.
I missed that. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that was. They didn't like dive into it. You could just see this giant bowl, and almost like a film strip of the bowl was Adam West running around. I think he had the bomb in his hand. That classic scene of him.
It was a very creative way of showing that stuff.
Super creative.
Yeah.
Just didn't look good.
Exactly. And I think the people who conceptualized that, they did it in a very good way, because that's such a tough thing where like, how the heck does the Flash break the Speed Force barrier to then like pick a timeline to go to?
Yeah.
That for them to visualize it that way was very creative, but
Yeah, it was like as he was running, it was like scrolling through time.
Yeah.
That was cool. I liked that.
that was done well.
Until he was running in place and it was time that was moving around him.
Yeah, the other, go ahead.
The way he runs, I hate.
Well, that was actually I do hate the form.
I think he hates the way he runs.
The form in which he runs is ridiculous, but I did think it was interesting, and I didn't see the Snyder cut. I thought it was interesting that they don't make his legs move super fast. All the other variations of Flash, it's like he's taking a bajillion steps in the blink of an eye. Whereas it's almost like when you're scrolling through your phone, and the more you scroll, it'll go, like every swipe will go further.
Yeah.
It's like he's not taking a million steps. Every step is a million feet.
He's ramping exponentially.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting take, but I hate the form and I think it looks stupid.
Well, I thought the movie was making fun of itself when there was a moment where he was trying to run, but he didn't have his powers, and he like intentionally looks ridiculous while running that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe we should actually just recap the movie.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's just go through the plot.
Sure.
The very beginning, I was like, what is this?
I hated it. I literally, like, I talked about the best 20 minutes being towards the end. The first 45 minutes, I was just like not rooting for this character, not connected to this character. And I was reminded very quickly, like you said, of how much I dislike Ezra Miller and his take on The Flash.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about his voice. I just can't do it.
It's very annoying.
It's
I gotta be honest. I watched the movie and I didn't hate Ezra Miller.
Dang, Sean. Screw you, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I wish I.
What if I told you he hated you?
Has he watched the pod?
Well, I don't know. I think it's maybe hard for most people to get over their taste of Ezra Miller, and that definitely will kind of affect the way they enjoy the movie.
Yeah. I thought he looked kind of goofy in the
Sometimes
suit
I don't know.
too.
Sometimes I see movies and I probably can't do that, but in this movie, I guess it wasn't really a problem for me.
So
So like,
do
yeah,
you-
sure, that's the Flash. He's a dork.
Do you want to start off? Do you want to start off with the recap?
Yeah, let's do that.
Did you
it
notice
doesn't have
it's-
to be so in depth. Just
Yeah,
kind of a
just-
basic.
Did you notice it started off? First shot was a clock.
Nope.
Oh my gosh!
I don't even remember
First thing you see, clock in a cafe. It's a movie about time.
Oh.
Dang. It's like 9th grade media class.
So he's going to like a cafe first thing.
that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't remember this being in the Snyder cut where he like needs calories because his metabolism is so fast.
He it's not even in the Snyder cut. He mentions it in all versions of Justice League where he says like, oh, my metabolism is super, super fast. So I'm just like constantly eating. He's like literally holding a pizza box and eating a whole pizza
Black hole of snacks. I am a snack hole.
I got
while he's talking to Ben Affleck's Batman.
And that's a pretty consistent theme for the Flash.
I didn't remember that, but yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. He had his watch telling him low calorie.
He's got this sick like Garmin Phoenix 7 touchscreen solar panel.
I did like how obnoxiously like UI obvious for the audience's sake it could be. Low calorie.
Low
Just
calorie.
As large letters as it possibly
Running
can.
low.
Right.
With a meter.
Yeah.
Like how does it know that?
It's probably Wayne Tech.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got it from his buddy.
There's on the other side of that needle, or the other side of that watch is a needle just going straight through his hand, constantly measuring his blood sugar.
Yeah. So he's at this cafe and it's the whole interaction was weird. He's like, oh, where's the girl that normally works here? She knows my order. This is my order. And it's like some other guy. He's, oh, she's not here. And he's just working super slow. And the Flash is running late to work. He's got no calories. And then he gets a call from Alfred, right?
Was it? Yeah, it was Alfred.
Yeah, saying like, we need your help. There's a problem at the
There's
hospital.
a terrorist attack on the hospital.
Yeah. So he
Man, those terrorists, the hospital, really, guys?
while the dude's making his sandwich, he goes to the bathroom, runs out of there as a Flash, immediately stops right in front of the cafe. He's about to run and he gets into his position that looks so stupid.
And then the title is like starting to form on the screen. The Flash, and then
these girls scream out, "Oh my gosh, it's a Flash!"
Which you've seen on the trailer.
Yeah.
The trailer ruins it. Like, stop doing that. I get you want people to go see your movie. But
honestly,
come on.
I think I'm honestly going to stop watching trailers.
Yeah.
Because there's, other than Across the Spider-Verse, every single movie lately, I have had epic expectations that have just fallen apart.
Do you remember when James Gunn came out and said, this is going to be the best superhero movie you've ever seen?
Oh, Gunderson. Not a good start, buddy.
I buy into it every time. And it's every movie. It's Guardians 3.
Because he just did Guardians 3 and it was really good.
you guys ever read the reviews for The Rise of Skywalker?
No.
Or at least like first screenings, like early screening reviews. There's something else.
Well, I'll say this, talking about not watching any trailers, I did that for Last Jedi. That was the one that I was like so just totally away from any media, which is kind of funny because I feel like back then like Instagram was not super video heavy. Whereas like if I try to avoid a TV trailer or movie trailer, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I basically just have to say I'm not going on social media for the next month.
Can't escape it.
No. And it wasn't like that back in, what was that, 2017?
Long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
And there's a terrorist attack on the hospital.
Right.
So the Flash goes and on the top floor, you got all these newborn babies.
Right.
And the building collapses and they all fall out the window.
Right.
And I thought, what is this movie?
That's pretty intense.
This is whack. So yeah, we see him running to save all these babies, but we learn you can't grab a human or touch a human when you're moving that quick.
Right.
So you need to bring in other things to
Yeah, like other inanimate objects or I don't know.
you need something else to like cushion the blow.
Right.
So yeah, he saves all these babies and they tease us with he's gonna save the baby, and then he doesn't. He goes for a vending machine, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Then he eats all the food, and then
But it's interesting because he doesn't get his sandwich. Some girl throws a candy bar at him, but he doesn't get a chance to eat it because Alfred calls him and says, "We need you now." So he runs off with like 0 calories in his body, and you see that he slows down time. He's running up, and then his watch is like out of energy, out of calories, and time starts speeding up. Like he's not going fast enough, and everything starts moving quicker. So he's reaching for the baby, and he goes right past the baby to a vending machine. He just starts eating. Then he goes to something else, and he just keeps eating stuff.
Well, you know what's funny is earlier, way back weeks ago, you kept talking about like the Quicksilver ultra slow motion scene,
Yeah.
and I remember watching that part of this movie, and I'm like, wow, this is that, but like 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
But it was kind of fun. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
apart from like really, really, really bad CG, babies and dog,
Yeah,
and
those,
everything, like looks like something somebody on YouTube made.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe. But it was great. It was kind of funny. I mean, I did like the premise of, I'm like, okay, I get this. I get what you guys are going for. He's the Flash. He can move it literally faster than the speed of light, but he's waiting on a super slow, Starbucks worker, and then he's getting held up by these girls, and then he's late for work, and I'm like, okay, I get the joke of, even though he's got these superpowers, he's still like stuck in a spot he can't get out of, and he's starving, and he's got to get some food, and I'm like, okay, this is, for me, that was kind of fun. And the best thing to come out of that whole saving all those babies scene is that meme I showed you guys where it's just a clip of the Flash rescuing the baby out of the microwave he put it in, but it's in reverse.
That scene is he saves the baby, pulls it out of the microwave, lays it down. There's all the babies lined up, and he looks up, and the nurse that was in charge of watching all these babies just screams at the top of her lungs. You play that in reverse. She screams, "Baby, baby, baby," grabs the baby, looks at it, puts it right in the microwave.
It's great.
That is Ezra Miller. So,
And by the way, what happened to, I thought Batman was a hero. What happened to him? He just like, I have to stop these bad guys no matter how many people die.
well, he's chasing these bad guys, and you find out from Alfred that they've got this, what was it? Some viral disease in a bottle.
Something that mandated he do literally nothing else but stop the bad guys, I guess.
So Batman's chasing them through the city. They're in like a armored Hummer.
Kind of a cool scene.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I've said it before.
Very Dark Knight.
I
Rises
don't know
vibes,
what it
or
is.
Dark Knight vibes.
I just can't connect to Ben Affleck as Batman. I don't know why.
He looks like a gorilla.
Yeah, that could be it.
yeah, his suit was whack.
Yeah, so he catches them, he saves them, but
Which there was a good part in that. He hopped in the Hummer and started beating on the guys, and then he looked at the driver, and the driver just opened his door and jumped out.
that was pretty good. There was quite a few scenes that made me chuckle and even, might I say, laugh out loud. It was pretty humorous. I thought the humor was good, but yeah.
I would say this movie definitely felt like it had the tone done better
For sure.
than any of those other DCU movies.
Yeah.
A lot of the other DCU movies were like, they're dark, heavy movies trying to be funny,
Yeah.
but this felt more like a fun movie
Right.
that at times gets dark
Right.
for the sake of like being dramatic.
Yeah. So Batman, he batter. What would you call it? He gets the guy.
He batarangs the guy and
he
ties him up.
batarangs him. He's hanging from this bridge using his grappling gun.
But oh no, the cable's gonna break. Oh
And
no.
oh no, I can't hold him. Oh no.
But wait, the Flash can travel at the speed of light. He'll save him.
Nope, not him.
No. What do you mean no? Who
No,
saves Batman?
Sean, because Wonder Woman shows up
Of course she
for
does.
approximately 7.5 seconds, and then she flies away.
It was an amazing thing you did. The sacrifice you made. You brought this world back to life.
So yeah, Gal Gadot shows up, saves the day.
Gal Gadot.
And then the Flash shows up, and then there's this cheesy scene where they're both tied in the lasso of truth.
Because she used it to save him.
And that was stupid, but whatever.
It was stupid. Why was it stupid, Dave?
I don't want to say it just was. It was so cheesy. Ben Affleck was just not my Batman.
Hashtag not my Batman.
Not my Batman. So,
I mean, sorry to cut you off, but there's a ton of debate now of who's the best Batman. Because we got 3 of them.
well, it's not Ben Affleck. But basically, from there, the story, we find out his dad is going to court the next day. And the whole story of The Flash is his mom died when he was a kid. It seems like the dad did it, but the dad did not do it.
Right.
But there's no evidence saying he didn't, and he was there.
Right.
So,
Evidence is circumstantial, and he doesn't have an alibi.
right.
Yep. His alibi was that he was getting a can of tomatoes from the grocery store. So Bruce Wayne helps out Barry Allen and basically gets him the footage from the grocery store, and he enhances it because it was all choppy. And it's basically like he sends him a USB stick and it says, "Sorry, Barry." And when you watch it, the dad is at the grocery store, but he never looks up. His head is down the whole time looking at the cans. And
He's got a hat on, so it blocks his face.
You can't tell that it's him, and it completely destroys his alibi. So he's like basically he's already in prison, and this is like him gonna be staying in prison forever. So Barry's trying to free his dad. He's trying to help his dad.
Also, they recast his dad.
I don't remember his dad being in. Was it in the Snyder cut?
He's in. He might be in both. He's very, very briefly in them. It's
Dang.
a different actor, but I like the new actor because he's the guy from Band of Brothers, and he's cool.
That's good. So his dad's. I don't remember what happens after that. What exactly?
At this point, Barry is kind of crushed that his only evidence he had to prove his dad is innocent is not gonna do it.
Right.
So he's like, you know what, Barry, it's okay. I'm just gonna sit in prison. It's better that I'm in prison than out of prison and having to deal with the fact that your mom's gone.
Oh.
So Barry's like, well, I'm pretty quick. I could change things.
No, you know what the inciting incident of this film is? It's him going on a date with that girl, Iris, because she's the one who gets him to open up about what happened with his mom and dad, which then gets him thinking about, wait, if this little thing changed in the past, then A, B, C, D would fall in place. And then he realizes out loud, oh, I just go back and fix that one thing.
Right.
And I'll save my mom.
Right. He realizes because it goes back in time and it shows they forgot the can.
A flashback, you mean? Not, it didn't go back in time yet. Not yet in the movie. It was a flashback.
It was a flashback.
Oh my God!
Wait, did Flash go back, or is it
The back got flashed. What? So they
No,
show
that was Supergirl
when
in her gown.
Barry Allen was a kid, they forgot his mom was about to make dinner. They forgot a can of tomatoes, so dad goes to the supermarket. Barry's chilling upstairs in his room, and then his mom gets stabbed with a knife. Who? We don't know. She's dead. And it's just as the dad pulls up from the grocery store, he runs inside. He sees that she's bleeding. Barry comes down.
Call on 911 now!
Skrillex. And the dad is with the mom, and he's got blood all over his hands. He's like, call 911. So then Barry just runs out of the house. He doesn't call 911, he just runs.
He doesn't know how to run fast yet.
Run, Barry, run.
So he just runs.
So then you get it's basically Barry standing in front of his childhood home, and it's like the flashback, and then it shows Barry standing in front of his house, and it's like it's a nice, what would you call it, blending of the two clips.
I'd call it cringe. No, well, you know what I'll say about that flashback is, do you notice how hard core, they tried to lean into making it as sentimental as possible.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love you, mommy.
Yeah.
I love you, daddy. I love you. Like his mom.
I love you more.
Yeah, his
I loved
mom
you
is
first.
like perfect.
Right.
Only saying the most kind, loving,
Yeah.
emotionally appealing things a mom could say in like the least amount of time.
Yeah.
She's the best and kindest person in the world.
You have to tell her that. Moms like to hear this kind of things.
And I was like, the whole movie, I kept thinking, wouldn't it have been more interesting if like their last interaction was like him getting mad at her about something, like something dramatic. Instead, it was just like,
Right.
oh man, son, life is perfect right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I could just die happy. I bet.
So that he's remembering all of this, and they're showing the flashback, and he gets up. He's just so angry
Sure.
that he just starts running, and he runs so fast that he goes into this.
He forced Gumps right into the Chrono Bowl.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt.
So he ends up in the Chrono Bowl of you seeing like him scrolling back time, like of what just happened in the last couple days, and it's like he sees himself saving the babies, and he like sticks his head through the Chrono Bowl, and he's there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's there watching himself save the babies, and then he sticks his head right back out, and he realizes, oh my gosh, I could travel back in time.
I just
the
want to
thing.
point out there's so many parallels to Across the Spider-Verse with this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Like that was Spot in Across the Spider-Verse, peering through different multiverses.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of it kind of mirrored each other.
Yeah.
This movie, that's not the movie you want to go up against. That's not the
To
one
me,
you want to try.
to me, so many things had to have been just a really weird coincidence, because like these
Right.
movies were made. Technically, The Flash was made, I mean, years ago.
Right.
I mean, maybe they were finishing some. That's why I think a lot of the CG maybe was weird, was because so much of it was getting redone up until like right before the movie came out. Because like that, like you just pointed out, that is a shot for shot thing that happened in Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
These movies came out a week apart.
Yeah.
It's
But
like
they've-
when Armageddon and that other Deep Impact movie came out.
They've been
at the
working on
same time.
the Across the Spider-Verse for like 4 years though.
Right.
This movie was supposed to come out originally in, what was it, 2018?
So that's 5 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, but then they were working on it for even longer.
Not on the CG.
I forgot
gosh.
about that.
You're not wrong.
It is crazy though that like a week apart, 2 weeks apart, these movies come
It's
out.
the same story.
And really, this movie looks so much worse because Across the Spider-Verse came out 2 weeks ago.
If they would have got the Flash out before Across the Spider-Verse, I feel like it would have been a little better.
I would have felt better about it. Yeah, probably.
See, but and the thing that really was way too weird was that the theme of the movie, like the moral lesson, is exactly the same.
The punch in the
even
gut.
down to like the canon event
Yes.
being the
Right.
thing that motivates you to become a hero. Like, because he when he goes back into the past the first time and like checks out like, oh, here I am saving those babies. He goes and he meets Bruce, right?
Yeah. Yep. Right after that, he
And
tells him like, I
I
can
can
do
do
it.
this. I can do this. And he's like, no, you can't just go back and change things. Blah blah blah. Life is, your life is what's led you to this moment. Or he gets all philosophical, but he doesn't. He doesn't help.
And
I'm
then
like,
he drives
dude,
off in
are you saying it's
sick
your mom's death is a canon event?
No, we can't use that phrasing.
I wish they just would have.
So he's talking to Bruce, and then he meets with Iris, and he realizes like it was the can of tomatoes. The can of tomatoes is the reason, because obviously the murderer thought that nobody was home because there was no car in the driveway because my dad was gone. So if I just
Chekhov's soup.
if I just get the can of tomato, none of this happens. And he basically bolts out of there. He goes back to the Chrono Dome, and he
But-
to the grocery store.
Yeah, he goes back in time. He's scrolling through different timelines, and then he sees his lightning is like what, orange red.
yeah.
He sees a purple lightning, kind of breaking apart the different memories, and he's like, "What the heck?" So you get this like little tease right in the beginning
Right.
that there's something else in the multiverse with him. So, yeah, he gets the tomatoes.
He goes back, he gets the tomatoes, And then
Puts it in his mom's grocery cart.
Yep. And then he tries to go back to his timeline. And as he's doing it, he's seeing all these memories of his mom alive and his 6th birthday or whatever, his 18th birthday.
Hooray. It's
Like,
all fixed.
she's there, all these happy memories. And then all of a sudden, this figure in the Chrono Dome Bowl comes out and basically attacks Flash and just like knocks him out.
Oh my gosh. Is that the inciting incident?
Oh my gosh. And he knocks him into whatever timeline he was in that moment,
Yeah, he
which
just-
ends up being a timeline where he is only 18 years old. So he ends up in front of his childhood home. He walks in and his mom's there and he just sneaks behind her and like says hi, which completely would freak anybody out. But the dilemma though is they're like really surprised he's there. They're surprised that he has short hair.
Oh my gosh. It's the same scene from.
It's the same thing as Across the Spider-Verse. The exact same thing.
It's the same thing.
Mom, I'm the Flash.
What'd you do to your hair? It's the same
What's the
thing.
Flash?
God dang.
No, they don't say that.
So they're like, I can't believe you're here. I can't believe you're back. And he's like, yeah. And then he turns around and he sees a younger version of himself acting like a complete idiot about to walk into the house. And he immediately goes outside and confronts himself.
yeah, he sees him prowling around.
So he tackles him.
And he tries to conceal himself. And he's saying like, what year is it? Who are you? What are you doing? And eventually the younger version of himself pulls like his disguise off and sees that it's him. And then you get this like weird, like, oh my gosh, you're me. What's going on? So then it's the Flash explaining to his 18-year-old self what is kind of going on, but definitely concealing a lot of the information. He conceals the fact that his mom died in his timeline, whereas he obviously grew up with his mom. Here's the problem. Ezra Miller in his own right kind of annoyed me. You take a 18-year-old version that is even more eccentric.
Yeah, they made him like
and obnoxious.
Californian surfer. Like,
yeah, and just like super dumb.
You ever seen that interview of the surfer?
Yeah.
Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoop-ah! Drop down. Snap. Ah!
So that was like immediately like, oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Yeah.
It was kind of annoying. But so the issue though is the Flash has lost his power.
Not yet.
No, that's not what happened.
The reason he realizes not only what year it is, he realizes what day it is.
Right.
And then he realizes, wait, this is the day it happens. This is the day I get my powers.
Pretty convenient, huh?
Now, here's what I'm wondering. Is he suddenly concerned that, wait a minute, because I changed things in the past, my 18-year-old self has no reason to be in the location I originally get my powers from?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get my powers, then that might screw up more things going forward. So I got to make sure he gets the powers.
Right.
Is that why he's like sticking around with him?
Yeah, because he has the 18-year-old version of himself has a date with Iris that night. And he's like, whoa, what? You have a date with Iris?
They're meant to be.
And
it's
he realizes,
destiny.
wait,
a canon event.
When I was your age, I wasn't away at college. I was interning.
Connection.
I was interning at that lab. And at that lab tonight, I was there working late, and
Yes.
I opened the window, and then the lightning came in, and it hit the chemicals, and the chemicals fell on me, and I got electrocuted or lightning jobbed, and then I became Flash, super fast time. And he's realizing like, you're not an intern there, you're away at college, you're about to have a date with Iris. I need to put you in that chair that I was sitting in and make this happen.
It's all coming together.
It did come together. So he takes him there. They did do a pretty good job of describing and showing what happens when Flash phases through a wall. They like zoom in on the molecules where the molecules vibrate to the point where they separate a little bit and can phase right through any solid object.
Dang.
Good job on that. Well job.
I think this was a cool movie because we didn't get a Flash origin movie.
Right.
So what we got in this movie is two Flashes. One is him getting his powers, the origin of the Flash, with a wiser, more experienced Flash.
Right.
So you get to see like the origin and the OP Flash.
That is kind
all
of
in one.
interesting, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a cool dynamic.
Cool dynamic.
He's unlocked the skill tree.
Yeah,
He's
right.
unlocked phasing.
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
that stuff.
He's a level 17 Flash, and he just met level 0 Flash.
So thing I
Tutorial
Flash.
Flash.
I looked up because we were confused about this at the theater. Iris West
Yeah.
is a played by this actress, this pretty lady who is kind of like, Flash, the Flash. He sees her outside of his internship earlier in the movie, and they go, hey, and they start kind of catching up because I guess he went to school with her, and they end up having a date, and it's at that date, like I said, that he gets motivated to wait. I could go back in time and try A, B, and C, but I was thinking, well, wait a minute, isn't this the same girl he rescues in the Snyder Cut?
Right.
It was.
Wow.
It's the same girl.
You know what? I didn't like her. I didn't like the actress. I thought that Iris was played pretty poorly.
It's because you can't trust her. She's a journalist. All she's looking for is this scoop.
Yeah, that was messed up.
He should have started. He should have said, when he was walking with her and they were like kind of chit-chatting and hanging out, he should have been like, hey, off the record. But he didn't.
Yeah.
So, she's just going to put that in the journal. She's going to put that in the paper.
She's going to on the record that.
Yeah. She's going to do to him what that one girl did to the one guy in Godzilla.
I don't remember that. Which one? The one with the Quicksilver?
No, Godzilla.
Speaking of Quicksilver.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, Iris was kind of mid in this movie. I thought her role kind of sucked.
No Riz.
I don't know what even sees in her.
So anyway, he gets young Flash into the chair and he's explaining to him what's going to happen. He's like, wait a second, I don't want to get electrocuted. And they start arguing, and because they're arguing, the lightning strikes. It goes through veteran Flash and into 18-year-old rookie Flash.
I like that. Vet Flash, rookie Flash.
So rookie Flash gets the powers after waking up. Veteran Flash loses his powers in the act. And then it's this huge dynamic of, you have the power, but you're an idiot and you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to try to teach you, but you have no patience. You're not listening to a word I say, and you're just dumb. So then hilarity ensues. He phases out of his clothes accidentally, so he's naked.
Oh, no.
He's running through the town. And
he phases through the floor.
Yeah, he phases through the floor. He runs so fast through the town that his clothes catch on fire because of the friction. So it's like, oh, yeah, you can't run that fast because you're not wearing the right clothes.
And he's naked.
Naked.
In the middle of an intersection at a street, and he's causing car crashes.
He turns off.
Isn't that why he got in trouble legally, too?
Oh, my gosh.
In real life?
I don't know.
Didn't he do something like that?
I don't know. I didn't look into it. So, yeah, it's just like all the... And this happens in the TV show, too. There is... All of season 1 is just like him discovering, like, I have to eat a lot of food. I can't run too fast or my clothes will
The
burn
counter
up.
strengths to his powers.
Yeah, I'm going to run right through my shoes if I'm not careful. So, Flash shows him the suit. He gets the suit on. He's learning how to be fast.
I liked that they went out of their way to confirm that the stupidest thing I'd ever heard of in my life is movie true. That his suit is stored in his ring.
Yeah. He's just so fast. It was like one line about how that worked, and I totally missed it. It was like, oh, the air molecules react with this, which then expands the suit. I missed the explanation to it. But then, conveniently, the second he gets his powers, the second they work through this stuff, General Zod shows up.
No.
And he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, that happened right away. Now I remember.
The stakes have been raised.
And he's like, when General Zod showed up to my world, I was still a noob. I was still trying to figure out my powers, but I was there. And I actually thought that was pretty interesting.
We got to learn that the Flash just got his powers the night before Zod showed up in Man of Steel.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they show him. He's there. He's on scene.
A flashback.
Yes.
Him describing, I tried to save people,
or was it
and I
a
couldn't.
Quicksilver scene?
That's right. It was a quick sliver of a scene.
Oh, nice. So it shows him saving a kid when the World Eaters or whatever they're called.
But he's trying to save more people, but he couldn't.
See, they show there he's trying to save the kid and his dad, but he couldn't save the dad. The problem is they never set up Reminder Payback that bad boy.
They didn't.
They show him trying to save the dad, but he can't. And later on, they show that same kid and dad getting thrown around, and apparently they died.
Well, let's say this. The movie answers that question. It's just not one you want to hear.
Oh, man. Yeah, they get yoked, I guess. So Flash immediately is like...
He learned a lesson that day that you can't save everyone.
Right. That's right.
Who are you talking to then, Vet? Why are we even here? You should have learned that lesson a while ago, and here we are. You've undone. You screwed up a whole timeline.
Right. So he's like, when General Zod showed up last time, we need Superman. We got to find Superman. How do we find Superman? Well, the only way to find Superman is to find Batman. So he's searching for Batman. But he doesn't know what is this world all about. He tries to call Aquaman.
Yeah, and he gets calls up
Rex.
He calls Rex. He calls up Jango Fett.
Tamora Morrison.
Who answers the phone, and Jango Fett's not interested in hearing none of it because he turns out he's not even born
There is
in
no
this
Aquaman.
timeline. And we're like, hold up, hold the fort. That doesn't make any sense.
And then he looks up Cyborg, and Cyborg is the star quarterback for the Gotham Knights or whatever. So
Yeah.
he's not Cyborg yet. He's just the quarterback. And
here's where I was going, wait a minute. There's no way you're expecting me to believe that the Flash is older than Aquaman, or even that, like, when the Flash's mom died, that happened before Aquaman was born. And so that's why everything's different. I'm like, there's no way. But that's when they
explain it.
they set you up. They set you up for disaster.
so he finds out through some drunk and hungover roommates of young rookie Flash that Batman exists in this world. Nobody
people-
knows who he is.
I just want to make a comment about Rookie Flash's roommates. I didn't hate that scene because I liked that it was the moment where Vet Flash is realizing, wow, everything's changed.
Right.
Marty McFly is played by Eric Stoltz instead of Michael J. Fox.
Which I think is hilarious because that's what we do when we talk about the Batmans.
Yes.
Batman was played by this guy.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's all coming apart, and he's like, but the reason I love that scene is because it was a moment that completely took me out of the movie. And I just kept sitting there thinking, I've never seen any of these actors before who are playing his roommates. This maybe is like their big breakout role for the first time. And yet one of them is being played by a guy who like has to just like lift his leg up and expose his underwear for an extended bit.
That
And I'm like, hey, shout out to that actor. I hope they paid you good for that, because that's rough.
that line about Back to the Future, Marty McFly, that's a callback to the Snyderverse.
I thought it was a callback to Avengers Endgame when they make a comment about why can't we just Marty McFly this thing or whatever.
They do that. I'm pretty sure in the Snyder cut they talk about is everything you know about time from Back to the Future.
Oh,
Do you remember that? Aquaman, when they're in the ship, they talk about it.
so
Snyder cut. I wish I would have watched that movie.
I'm
Right
almost
before we saw
positive
this
they
one.
talk about
I
it.
couldn't remember who it was that they kept saying played Marty McFly.
It was Eric Stoltz.
It was Eric Stoltz,
The original.
And when I Googled to find
then
out
they
who
had to
is, because I
replace
couldn't,
him.
I don't know who Eric Stoltz is. Eric Stoltz almost was Marty McFly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they replaced him with Michael J. Fox. I didn't know that. So that was cool. And that is, like you said, that's when veteran Flash is like, whoa, everything's different. Let me call Aquaman. There is no Aquaman. Let me look up Cyborg. He's not Cyborg yet. And then he's
Doesn't
like,
he try to figure out Wonder Woman? But like, was there a gag about why he couldn't find Wonder Woman?
I can't remember it.
I don't remember either.
So much of this movie was forgettable.
But he figures out, I just need to find Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
Easy.
I gotta
Bruce
find
Wayne.
Batman. He's the strategizer.
He's the world's greatest detective.
He's the guy with the guts and the plan and the jazz.
And the jobbers.
So
the jazz?
I don't know what
I don't
else
know
to
where
say.
you were going there.
I don't either.
He's the one.
He's the one. So it's like, we got to find Batman. Well, who's Batman? Oh, don't worry. I know who he is. So he goes, he looks up Bruce Wayne, he looks up Wayne Manor, and it's this like dilapidated mansion in the middle of nowhere.
Look like I remember.
He goes inside and it's completely abandoned. They go into the kitchen though, and there's water boiling, and there's pasta noodles, and there's a sandal on the ground.
And the place is covered in cobwebs. But
Yeah.
somebody's still using the place.
So like somebody was just here, but the place looks like it's abandoned. And then Batman jumps out of the
Oh
cupboard.
my gosh.
That was a pretty cool. I mean, he was messing veteran Flash up because
Well, he didn't have any powers.
Because he didn't have any powers. And then you see rookie Flash like watching all of it.
But
in
it's
a-
all the same. It's paralleled to Ben Affleck's Batman throwing the thing at Ezra Miller.
Right.
It was all the same.
right, except it was a frying pan. So it had a lot of good mirrors.
And he can't move out of the way. So just,
And this is when we see Michael Keaton as a very old just scruffy looking.
Like hobo Batman.
Yeah,
here's what happened when they actually go to great lengths during that entire fight scene before it ends to hide his face,
right,
with all that like hair.
Because I thought maybe it was Alfred.
I thought that too. I thought, oh my gosh, Bruce Wayne is dead in this universe, and Alfred has gone feral.
Yeah, he looked feral.
He's lost his mind.
But he was owning them. So you see that it's Michael Keaton. He clearly has been out of the game for a long time. And again, this is where veteran Flash is like, you're Bruce Wayne? Oh no, you don't look anything like my Bruce Wayne. And then this was one of the best parts of the movie, right, David?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So they talk about the multiverse and stuff, and Bruce Wayne gives an analogy of the multiverse, and he says you think it's like spaghetti noodles. You think you go back in time, you change something, and then if you have two spaghetti noodles, if you have two spaghetti noodles next to each other, you go back in time to change something, you think that one spaghetti noodle just branches off to create a different timeline. He's like, that's not how it works though. What happens is you go back in time, you change something, and it recreates a whole different timeline.
It's like an intersection point.
Yeah, an intersection point.
Instead of a branch,
fulcrum.
You create a cross section. So now
Christianity confirmed.
Not only take that, atheist. Not only did you branch it, but you also completely changed everything about it from the start. Dang. So that's why there is no Aquaman. Cyborg isn't Cyborg yet. Totally different Batman. And what about Superman? So they go to the Batcave, and Ezra's goal is to find Superman. So he's looking for he's looking at the date that Superman dropped into Earth. He's trying to find asteroid landings or whatever, any reports of something entering that Earth's atmosphere, and he finds something, and he finds it in Russia.
Oh no.
And that's when they're like, we're going to Russia. So Batman suits up. He says, I'm going to help you with this one mission, and then I'm done, dude.
One last time.
And I wish they wouldn't have shown Supergirl in the trailers.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you're like, yo, we getting Red Sun, Superman?
Right.
What are we doing
and
here?
this is what happens in the Flashpoint, too. They go looking for Superman because it's like they get to a point where they can only do so much, and we need Superman. And they're like, who's Superman? What are you talking about? But in Flashpoint,
he's Superman. He's Clark Kent. He's super powerful. And then Batman's like, don't you think that's a little on the nose? So Superman. I mean, I don't call myself Super Batman.
Yeah.
And then Rookie Flash is like, you're Batman?
Yeah.
Which made me realize he's in this scene. I totally forgot about that. Oh yeah, by the way, Rookie Flash has been sitting here trying so hard to catch up.
Yeah,
keep up with them.
He's so stupid throughout this whole movie. He has no idea what's going on. But that is what happens at Flashpoint. He goes to look for Superman. See, in that though, Superman is being kept by the U.S. government.
No, and America, how could you?
And they're keeping him out of the sun. So when they go to Russia, I could kind of tell where this was going. And in my opinion, this is where the fun begins. This is where things start getting good. And I said last week that I was not really excited for this movie because one of the big hype up things was Michael Keaton returning as Batman. And I was kind of like,
sure,
meh.
And I'm like, Michael Keaton is
Vulture.
Hashtag my Vulture.
I was going to say, Michael Keaton already did a movie called Birdman, which was the perfect satire playoff of, I used to be famous playing Batman and I'm not anymore. So to actually have him unironically play Batman again feels like feels like you just missed a joke.
Yeah.
It's like having to explain the joke again.
Right.
So,
well, I will say that I wasn't excited, but one of the best parts of the movie was Michael Keaton.
He actually was great in the movie.
Super great. Now, I like the idea of all of his gadgets are still from the 90s.
Yeah.
And they're all very crude. And
he's his mouse. He actually uses the old mouse that's on a ball. You just rotate a ball.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
So he flies them into Russia, and they end up in this giant, I don't know, nuclear pit.
Base, yeah.
Yeah, they're in some base, and they're down in the deepest level of it. And we get this sick, what was it, 6 versus 1 Batman scene? And he just goes off.
Goes gorilla mode on him.
He does, and it was sweet.
King Kong.
It was one of the best fight scenes in the entire movie. And this was this is peak Batman. even though it's old hobo Batman, this is like some classic Batman
with use of batarangs too, which is I feel like we never see.
Yeah, that was a really good use of his gadgets. And
it's a reminder that like if you fight Superman, he'll punch you once and you're done.
Right.
And if you fight Wonder Woman, she'll punch you once and you're done. But if you fight Batman, he can't just like punch you once and you're done. So he'll like find a way to drop you on your neck.
Right.
Which is like really not good.
But one of the best scenes that I was laughing at pretty hard was just before that, Rookie Flash moves Veteran Flash out of a bunch of bullet fire.
Oh yeah.
And when he moves him, it all slows down. He goes, "What did you do?" He just starts puking violently and he just doesn't stop.
You're not supposed to move somebody that much in super speed.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. But then they find Supergirl. They find this giant ball and Flash is like, okay, if you're going to keep Superman anywhere, it would be inside of there. So they open it up.
So Michael Keaton pulls out his BlackBerry to hack open the...
To hack it open.
Yeah.
But Rookie Flash, like any Flash has ever done in any sequence, whenever a password needs to be entered, he just tries every combination possible and he unlocks it. And it opens up. They find a suit on the ground and they find this just like 30-pound creature.
They find Gollum.
They find Gollum.
Basically.
And they're like, well, what the heck? This isn't even Superman. Let's get out of here.
Not Superman.
Batman flat out was like, it's not him. Let's go. And Flash says, no, she needs help. We need to take her. So they take her. And
take the shot, Mickey.
This was one of the best scenes, too, where they get on this elevator to get out of the shaft that they're in. And Batman's just got this like explosive charge. And he needs to calculate how much power should I put behind this explosive charge?
How much do you weigh? Pulls out a tape measure and everything.
He measures it, figures out how much they weigh. What did he put at? Like level 7?
I don't know.
And he just blows them straight out. And then they just get surrounded by Russians.
You know what's great about that moment too is I feel like there should be a name for this trope in a movie or a TV show where a character does math real quick and then it almost forces the audience to stop and check their math because he's like, how much do you weigh? And they're like 180, so two of us, and so like 400 pounds. and then I'm immediately sitting there going like,
hang on, just checking your math on that. Yes, I got the same thing.
Okay, so like how much are they saying she weighs?
40 pounds.
Or maybe it was like 420 or 440 or something like that.
But just before that, Rookie Flash gets shot in the kneecap.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, we could get shot. And he's like, why would you think we couldn't get shot? What the heck's wrong with you? So he's debilitated for a while.
Oh, you know, and the reason that happened was because of the moment that actually was... You guys didn't like Ben Affleck having the lasso of truth around him and saying kind of awkward things.
Right.
I didn't like Batman like faking out that guy.
Yeah, that was cheesy.
And he didn't get intimidated, so he just like fumbles around in his pocket and pulls out a gun.
Yeah.
I was like, Batman wouldn't do that.
No, I agree.
Come on.
I agree.
The Flash would.
Yes.
But not
so
Batman.
they get out of there and then they're surrounded by Russians. And then what happens, David?
As we all are.
So all hope is lost. They're on the ground. They're about to get shot in the back of the head. But the sun peers out behind the clouds. And Supergirl starts getting healed and she gets powerful and yoinks all of them.
Yep.
So
She's a babe.
Sean left that theater wondering, what would it take?
How do I meet her?
What would it take to get a date? Supergirl was the bright spot in this movie, but she was only in it for 11 minutes.
I'll just say it's really satisfying the way they've always handled super people in the new DCU movies.
I really agree.
Because when they move, it's like a concussive blast.
Yeah.
When they move, like literally breaking sound barrier. When they punch somebody, it's like physically realistic, like that extreme quick high impact sending somebody flying.
Right.
It's always so satisfying.
Yeah, it really is.
It's not like old school, like Christopher Reeves holding up like clearly a prop that like doesn't weigh anything going, huh!
Right, for sure. And this is kind of how they treated it in Flashpoint too. It is Kal-El, it is Superman that they find, and he's like, he kind of looks like an elongated like Mr. Fantastic, where he's just like super thin and like stretched out, and then he gets into the sunlight and he gains some power, but he's still not Superman. And that's kind of like what they did with Supergirl, where like she's been in this ball for so long. Whatever strength she had, she's lost quite a bit of it.
Yeah, so she fights all these Russians off.
No calories on her watch.
Yeah, she was low. She needed the orange slices. But she fights them and then immediately just like collapses and passes out.
So then they take her back, and then it's just like, okay, Zod's here. We need your help. And I mean, I keep trying.
No, at this point,
after that,
the Flash is like, all right, Batman, I need my powers. Let's
yeah.
recreate it, which is what they do in the cartoon movie.
Really?
Yeah. But he does it with Thomas Wayne, the Batman.
Oh,
so it's a different universe, but it's the same thing. They recreate it. It doesn't work at first. That's what happens in the cartoon movie. I almost whispered that to you, but I didn't want to ruin it.
I forgot
Raising
about
the
that.
stakes.
And he's like, go again.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
But yeah, he gets his powers back. They recreate it.
But with her help.
Right. She grabs him and takes him up into the clouds to get zapped.
Actually, so here's where a plot hole occurs.
Bring it.
What happens is they take Kara Zor-El back to Wayne Mansion, and they kind of nurse her back to health. They put her on the roof to get some sun. She gets her nice suit on. She's a goddess. Oh my gosh, look at her go. She flies off. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Where's she going? They need her. She says, the first people I met on this planet, the first humans I met, put me in a cage or whatever.
Right.
I'm not interested in helping you guys.
Right.
Oh man. Ugh, gut punch. What are we going to do? Flash is like, I got to get my powers back. So here's what she does. Zod's still out there. He's still a threat.
Right.
So she flies all the way to the desert from Man of Steel, where Zod encounters the army.
Right.
Where they like handed off Clark Kent to him. And she sees Zod start attacking all the humans. Like they make eye contact and everything.
Right.
And then she flies all the way back to wherever Bruce Wayne's mansion is.
Right.
And then assists Flash, giving him his powers back. And then you have their like, okay, we're getting the team together, montage. Rookie Flash is building his own suit.
Right.
Then they go all the way back to where Zod is, and he's still fighting all those army people. So what was this, like hours later, like a day later? And it's like, why are they still there?
It's a great question, Sean.
So
they were just trying something.
They're just really fast.
It's just so fast.
So fast.
Yeah, so Rookie Flash takes an old Batman suit, spray paints it.
I liked that.
Takes an old Batman cowl and cuts the ears off with a hacksaw.
The best part about it is that it looks absolutely awful.
Yeah. Trash.
I love it.
Looks like a trash bag.
So then they fly in, and this is again where things get good, and it's the big face off. It's the big crescendo of the movie. It's Zod and his chick and his destroyer dude.
And they look bad. Again with the CG, the de-aging, they tried.
So David, you just watched Man of Steel.
Yeah, I watched half of it on the plane back from my honeymoon, and then I watched the last half last night.
So what are your thoughts with that fresh in your mind and now this Zod scene?
Let's rate that movie real quick.
Dude.
I'm going to give it a 9-1.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, that movie is so good.
Such a good movie.
Just this... I totally forgot. It has been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So now that I've seen it again, to relate it to all these superhero movies that we've seen.
Yeah.
This idea that like his human dad, the one who raised him, died right in front of him, and he's like, no, don't save me.
Canon event, if you will.
You can't save me.
You can't show.
Yeah, you can't show who you are yet.
That scene gets a lot of hate. And people are like, this is so stupid. He could have just easily saved him. Nobody would have even known. It's like, no, because there were so many eyewitnesses that saw the situation he was in. And for him to just like, you blink and all of a sudden he's not in that situation anymore.
Didn't he save a bus full of kids though? And that all
Yeah,
just
so
kinda blew
that's
over?
how they found out who Superman was though.
Right.
Lois Lane went back and found that kid that got saved by him and from the bus.
Should have let all those kids die.
You got
Flash.
That's what Spider-Man 2099 would have done.
Yeah. So
who knows what those babies are going to grow up to do one day that the Flash saved?
Uh-oh.
World War III. Each of them will start a nation and fight each other.
Dang.
So yeah, Man of Steel 9-1.
I haven't seen it in so long, but I mean, anybody that watched our top 50 superhero movies episode knows that I'm a huge fan of Man of Steel, and I was ticked that it was not in that top 50. Complete snub. I can't say with 100% certainty because it's been so long. But if I gave the Batman featuring Robert Pattinson a 9.5, I gave Across the Spider-Verse a 9.6. I would give Man of Steel a 9.1. I agree with that.
It was like just how disciplined he was in the movie.
Yeah.
Like he was a disciplined Superman. Like he knew what he stood for.
Yeah.
And
some
just
people,
like,
you know, Sean, you've talked about like some of Henry's portrayal of Superman is very off-brand. And obviously the end of that movie when he snaps Zod's neck, people were not happy about that. But we've kind of seen that.
It was the best part of that movie.
It sure was. But Zack Snyder, he kind of goes off the freaking rail sometimes. Everybody wants to talk about the Snyder Cut, restore the Snyderverse. There was an interview where Snyder was talking about, yeah, if I was going to do Justice League 2, you know, like when Superman dies, Bruce and Lois were going to get together and like potentially have a kid.
I think in the original script, Lois and Batman got together, you know, briefly. And there was like this whole, there was this whole other thing that everyone was like, oh my God, you can't do that. You know, so we were.
And like none of that is in the comics.
Well, he might have just been messing.
I don't think so. I think it was like he was legit talking about some of his plans moving forward.
Yikes.
And everybody was like, okay, never mind.
They're called breaks, Zach. Why don't you pump them?
Screw the Snyderverse. This is for the best that he's gone, because he really did like, it's like, I'm going to give you the best comic book character, and then I'm going to do something so effed up that is not in the comics at all. So a lot of people were mad at that, but I love that movie.
I love the dynamic with Zod too, how it's Superman on his home turf.
Right.
And then Zod is not accustomed to the home turf.
Yeah, he's not ready for Earth.
But then it flips to where Zod gets accustomed.
Right.
And then it's Superman who has to adjust to like the Kryptonian stuff.
Right.
So it's like the playing field is like,
yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I actually found my review of Man of Steel on Letterboxd. Can you guys see what that is?
No. What? Half a star?
What?
Yeah, I guess I gave it a 1 out of 10. I hated it apparently.
Dang, Sean, what the heck?
Well, can you just tell me what you think of it?
Put it on the screen right now.
All right, now. I guess I didn't like it.
Dang, Sean.
I love that movie.
I guess we need to have a sleepover and watch it again.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a Man of Steel breakdown where I tell you guys how bad it is.
No.
But all that to say, basically, they try to stop Man of Steel from happening. The Flashes and the Supergirl and the Batman, they go fight Zod and the Kryptonians.
Right.
And here's what I'll say. It's a long sequence, but because they keep changing its nature.
Right.
Basically, the fight goes one way, and then the Flashes decide, no, we got to go back in time and try this.
Yeah. Which is what I loved about the Snyder cut of the Justice League. He goes back in time. That was like my favorite part of that whole movie.
Basically, the bad guys win, and then Flash goes back in time to fix it.
Right.
So
it's just like in the movie Galaxy Quest with Sigourney Weaver and Tim Allen.
It's also like the Tom Cruise movie, Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah.
Or Jet Li.
Edge of Tomorrow. The one. Yeah.
He's escaping!
There's only one.
That is why, like, the Flash is just an ultimate weapon. It's like, oh, you killed everybody? Well, watch this. I'm just gonna redo all this because, and like, let's talk about that sequence. So, Supergirl confronts Zod, and he says, "Listen, just like in Man of Steel, we're gonna take Earth and rebuild Krypton."
We need the Codex.
Yeah, we need the Codex. We need the DNA.
I need the DNA found in the child sent away from like Michael Shannon just not giving any.
Yeah, it's like he's in his deathbed, and they just put a mic. Like, please, did
they even get him on film? Because I'm watching all of that, and I'm pretty sure it's just a guy in a suit and then they just like kind of CG'd his face.
I saw an interview where he was talking about it, or saw some quotes, and he said like Man of Steel, like he trained hardcore, he got in epic shape. It was like a 9-month shoot. He said Flash, they called me.
I was there for it was like 2 weeks.
He was super confused about the whole storyline. He's like,
it like doesn't seem real to me. It's like, I did?
Didn't you see that my neck got snapped? What do you mean you want me to come back for a movie? Well, no, it's different. It's like a multiverse thing. And he was just like,
Mr. Shannon, can you pay attention?
Have you seen anything that's been happening?
Do you read any of the emails we send you?
So the most like emotional sequence was Supergirl was sent with Kal-El. Their 2 pods were together, sent towards Earth.
Yeah, and they got separated.
They got separated
So
somehow.
it's like, I gotta protect my cousin. Where is he?
Right. And he says, well, we found your cousin, and we realized that his blood didn't
His
have...
DNA wasn't the one we needed. It
have
was
the codex.
yours.
And she says, what did you do to Kal-El?
What did you do?
And he says, the infant did not survive.
Why is that so funny?
And she goes, and she just laser eyes him. Best scene in the movie.
I thought that was sweet.
That was sweet. Now everybody's clamoring for her to come back as Supergirl in some capacity, which I would want.
Now pause real quick. Wait a minute. How is she supposed to be the protector of her cousin when Henry Cavill would definitely have been older than this actress?
I didn't understand that either.
It's like they didn't even try.
I also don't know if Kal-El is younger or older than Supergirl in the comics or in any of the shows or anything.
I'd be okay if she was younger and they would still like, hey, protect your older cousin anyway.
Right.
But like,
maybe she's stronger than him.
They can't both be babies when they get to Earth at the same time if he's like 5 or 6 years younger.
Right. Yeah.
Or 5 or 6 years older than her.
So she goes ham taro on
and you're like, wow, dude, she's about to snap Zod's neck. I'm getting ready for it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get his neck snapped. Neither does she get hers snapped, which is also doubly disappointing.
He stabs her and then he extracts her blood
a couple times. Yeah.
And now this is a scene I really like. Batman is just flying around in a ship doing the best he can, but he's a human and he's facing Kryptonians, and Flash is down there, and it gets to the point where Supergirl is dead. She's gone, and he can't do anything. He gets shot with his ship gets shot, and he's going down, and he says, I'm taking out the command ship. I'm going in. And Flash's like, no, don't.
No, Bruce.
So Bruce just kamikazes that bad boy, and I thought, yeah, that's a total Batman move.
Except it didn't do anything because the ship has a shield.
Yeah, it literally didn't do anything.
Yeah, so Supergirl dies, Batman dies, and then both Flashes are like, yo, we just lost.
And I'm like,
did we just lose?
Did we just lose? I'm like, end the movie right here. It'll be the greatest movie ever made.
So Rookie Flash says like, well, no, we can change it, right? So they both run, they get into their Chrono Dome sphere, and they go back and they try to redo it. And immediately he's like, Rookie Flash is like, I know what I'm gonna change. And Flash is like, yeah, okay, I know what I'm gonna change too. So they get back, they redo everything, and he's like, all right, I'm going in for the big ship. He goes, no, Batman, it has a shield. It has a shield. He's like, all right, roger that. Okay.
Roger that. Hold up.
He's like, all right, I say Batman. And then Batman goes, but that big guy doesn't have a shield. It's like the massive destroyer Kryptonian. And he should not have gone after that guy, because then that guy jumps on his ship and takes his ship down.
Batman puts up a fight against him, though. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's
all the bombs he plants on him.
He's crawling all over him, planting bombs. He puts a massive bomb on the back of his head and presumably blows his head off, except he doesn't.
And he just gets grabbed eventually and gets yeeted hard across the ground.
But throughout, while this is all happening, you see Veteran Flash and Rookie Flash like kind of playing off each other's speeds, and they're like doing all these joint attacks, and Rookie Flash is getting comfortable with it. But then we didn't talk about him Palpatining anybody. Do you want to talk about that, Sean?
Palpatining?
Yeah, because his suit is Batman's suit. It's not the Flash's suit. It's not the Flash's material. So in the beginning, Flash tells him like, you gotta be careful because your suit is not gonna dissipate your energy. It's gonna charge up. So you gotta be careful.
Oh yeah, all that static.
So he's got all this static charge after he's running for so long. He's like, oh, you gotta be careful. You gotta like get rid of that somehow. He goes, "Can I just like Palpatine this guy?"
He's like, "Can I just Emperor?"
Yeah, that's what he says. And then he just
he does like the Emperor, like just
he just yoinks him.
Yeah, just
and the dude disintegrates.
crackles of electricity. That was pretty fun.
That was cool.
But
how can they do that? How can they do like reference that? It's DC. It's not like it's like Disney. It's not like it's
because there's a difference between borrowing a character and making a reference. Do you think anybody cares that they referenced Back to the Future multiple times?
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
Or
true.
in Deadpool they reference Batman, but
Right. I guess just talking about a character versus showing a character. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it's like when Disney hears their stuff being referenced, they're like, "That's right, it's popular." Isn't it?
Or it's like when we take a 10-second clip off the internet and put it in our podcast, but not 11 seconds.
Exactly.
that's illegal.
Because we will die.
So they keep redoing it.
Yeah, because nothing works.
Nothing's working.
It doesn't work.
But one of the
Supergirl
best,
keeps getting killed over and over again by Zod.
But one of the
and I'm
be-
like, gosh, she sucks.
Yeah, she kind of does.
I like that she wasn't OP though.
But that's the thing, like just like in Flashpoint, like Superman wasn't Superman because he was being held captive that whole time. He didn't have his full power. Same thing with Supergirl. She was super powerful, but she was not peak Supergirl.
Yeah.
So she keeps getting killed by Zod. But one of the best parts is, and this like plays into it for later, is Rookie Flash gets stabbed with like this Kryptonian like, I don't know what you would call
Armor.
it.
I think he blows one of the Kryptonians up, and their armor shatters, and like
Yes.
pieces of it get lodged in his arm.
Yes, they both Palpatine him. They both Emperor the one big dude, and he explodes.
Another parallel. He's Miguel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. You're not wrong.
From Across the Spider-Verse. He is now Spider-Man 2099.
He's got the blade. So yeah, he's got this like sick blade sticking out of his arm. Like, oh my gosh. And he immediately uses that blade to kill the other Kryptonian chick. And it was like, he killed her fast.
It was dark
And
too.
it was
like
it was sweet. The other part
Isn't that the moment then he just like looks at the camera, or he looks at the other Flash, but it's the camera,
right?
And he's just like, again.
Yeah, we do it again. So then they go back and
What, you want to stab her again? Dude.
But one of the best parts was when they're like doing these joint attacks. I think it's Rookie Flash. He straight up just breaks some dude's back over his knee.
Gives him the Bane.
I laughed so hard at that. That was great. So dark, but I loved it. So then they go back, and then the Flash, veteran Flash, is like, this is futile.
I'm understanding now because we didn't mention this, but Michael Keaton, Batman, before we went out into battle, said, check out my pasta bowl now. We went over the noodle analogy. Check out my bowl of pasta. All these different noodles intersect at some point. Those points you can't stop.
Right.
They're going to intersect.
Right.
In other words, these are your canon events.
The pasta bowl analogy was great.
It was.
To explain the multiverse of like, it's a complete mess. All these noodles are all over the place. But just like with pasta noodles, sometimes there are dimensions and universes that are parallel to each other and stick together and are kind of similar to each other. And there's like consistent things that happen from each one. So like there is a Batman. And sometimes it's different, but there's always a Batman in every single universe type of thing.
Sure.
And we always have these, like you said, intersecting canon events. They didn't say that though, because that's across the.
It's like, Flash, are you good friends or like close with any like police captains? Oh no.
Captain Stacy.
What's your uncle's name? What's your aunt's name?
So they just keep trying to. The Rookie Flash is like hellbent on replaying this over and over again. Like, no, we can do it. We can fix it. I know what I'm going to do different this time. He just keeps doing it. And you see Flash.
Well, Batman. So Bruce or Ben Affleck Batman in the beginning of the movie talks about this. Like, there's things you can't change, Flash.
Right.
My parents died, but like, I don't want to bring them back because you don't mess with that.
Right.
Someone had to die.
So then we get it again from Michael Keaton Batman. As Michael Keaton Batman's dying, he says, no, like, I'm supposed to die. Like, this is it for me.
Didn't he say like, I need to save you? And he says, you already did.
I don't know.
How do I bring you back? And he goes, you already did. Because he was a scruffy hobo.
That's true.
That's right.
He wanted to go out with a Flash.
So yeah, the Flash comes to grips that you can't change certain things.
Right.
So he realizes Batman's always gonna die here. Supergirl's always gonna die here.
He basically realizes this world is going to die. Zod is going to win, and he's going to take this world over. This dimension, this world I've created,
This timeline
where my mom lives, is not going to survive, no matter what I do.
So you're saying there isn't any timeline or universe where me and Supergirl can...
I didn't say that, Sean. I would never say that.
Thanks, bro.
So, but Rookie Flash does not get that message. And he doesn't give a dang.
He's tilting. He's going through the Chrono Bolt over and over again.
And this is our parallel of Miguel and Miles Morales talking.
Right.
You got both Flashes talking to each other, where Vet Flash is like, listen, buddy, we need Mom to die.
Right.
And it's that big, but it's different. In Across the Spider-Verse, you're like, well, hang on a second.
Right.
Like, in this one, it's like, no, like, kill her. So,
Rookie Flash can't come to grips with that though, and he keeps replaying it, and he's ticked at Veteran Flash, like you're just standing here, come and help me. But every time the Rookie Flash does it, he's getting more and more like shrapnel all over him. He's getting more and more of that Kryptonian armor like stuck into him.
So
He's
where's
like,
it all going?
I can almost fix it, you know?
Right.
Where's it all going? So in this Chrono Dome, whatever, we've got the two Flashes.
Right.
One Flash realizes, I saved my mom and all of this happened and this universe is going to fall apart. Zod's going to take it over. I need my mom to die. The other Flash only knows his mom alive.
Right.
And doesn't want his mom to die, obviously. So now you have two different
perspective
players on the battlefield.
Sure.
Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, does this Flash become the villain for this movie? Was that what this was all leading to? Does he become a reverse Flash? And now we got a Flash versus reverse Flash? No, I don't want you to kill my mom. Yes, I need to kill my mom.
Right.
Then take the shot, Mickey.
And then, who was that purple guy?
Right.
Is that who Rookie Barry becomes? Because he has to stop Barry from killing his mom? Nope.
No, it
so
wasn't.
in about 5 minutes they wrap it up.
Well, it was though. So one of the things that happened in the very first go round where they're trying to defeat Zod is Rookie Flash gets cut in the face like immediately because he doesn't realize that these Kryptonians are super strong and super fast. Because he's like, oh, they're fast too. What the heck? And he gets this giant scar across his face.
Gets a boo boo.
So later on,
I don't know how I got these scars.
The mysterious figure that was in the Chrono Bowl was this like menacing speedster, and he was like all like he had all these.
He looks like a monster,
like a Bionicle.
Yeah, that's true. He looks like a Bionicle.
Like a Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing Bionicle Flash knocks the other Flash out. So then later you see Rookie Flash starting over and restarting, and he's gaining all these scars and all these like Kryptonian armor stuck to his body. And then you realize that the menacing figure, the Bionicle Flash, is a super old version of Rookie Flash that has been stuck in this Chrono Bowl, replaying this sequence over and over and over and over again.
It's so quick. It's so fast.
I think they
in
were
a flash. You could miss it.
Oh man, that's
because I did. I missed that. I missed that whole thing.
They punch him in the face. The Bionicle Flash. They punch him in the face, and you see his scar. He has the same scar as Rookie Flash.
I gotcha.
And you see, then you realize like he's a Bionicle-looking figure because he's got millions of years of Kryptonian armor stuck to him, and it's stuck to his face, and you can't even see him. And that Rookie Flash has been replaying that battle for 100 years trying to fix it. And he's like, I've almost got it. We're so close to doing it. And like, oh my gosh, no.
And I'm like, well, maybe he's right. Give him a chance. I don't know. Like, you know, maybe he's almost there.
He's obviously got a lot of experience. It's like when you're playing a video game level 100 times and you're like, shoot, I did this combo, then that combo. I need to redo it. And it's like, dude, then you just finally realize like
your data is corrupt.
Either that or my guy is not a high enough level to complete this boss battle.
Dude, you're tilting. You're tilting right now.
Yeah. So then they have an argument of like, oh my God, you're Flash, you're me, and you're corrupted. And I think he was Savitar, which is a character in the show. It's this menacing speedster who's way faster than the Flash. He knows his every move. He's gonna defeat him. And then you realize that Savitar is just a corrupt version of Barry. It is Barry from another timeline. So that's what they were doing. And I think that they did it well. I
don't think so. I think
Well,
it was too quick.
That's the problem.
It is disappointing now that Dave mentions it, that it would have been a little bit more dramatic and felt more cohesive if they find out like, oh, that like you basically attach this whole conflict and you put it into the scene where the mom gets killed.
Yes.
And you go, oh, it all ties together.
Right.
His mom got killed because of this loop that had to be closed up or something.
Right. Yeah.
But instead, like this whole scene just takes place and the villain is met. The villain's motivations are explained. The villain is defeated inside this Chrono Bowl.
Because then he goes to kill Veteran Barry of like, you're not going to help us. I'm going to kill you. Before he can kill him, Rookie Barry steps in front and gets stabbed. He gets stabbed by his future self. And then they both just disappear. And yeah, it was actually a very good setup for that villain. And it was like, oh my gosh moment.
But why would Rookie Flash save him?
Yeah.
He just told him, bro, I'm sorry. I have to kill your mom.
I'm going to go kill mom.
Someone had to die. There was no redemption arc for him.
Right.
He should have been the villain at that point.
Right. And we mentioned the other multiverses.
He did get a redemption arc because he was going to become the villain.
Right.
But he sacrificed himself, and that's what defeated him.
Yeah, but why?
But
why would he?
Because! Darn you, because
he's in 1 second saw what he would become. Okay, yeah, let's
why and
hey,
why did it take 12
if you
seconds?
saw yourself becoming this nonsense monster one day, wouldn't you do anything you could to stop it?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. But while Rookie Flash is trying to replay this, you see the sphere like coming
Oh no, the chrono balls are gonna collide.
and there's this giant hole that opens up, and you see that's when we were talking about earlier. They show all these different dimensions.
They give you a montage of old Superman, old Batman.
Yep.
Curiously enough, no Christian Bale, Nolan Batman.
I know, right?
No Brandon Routh Superman.
What the heck?
No, what's the TV version
Grant
of
Gustin Flash?
Yeah, with no TV versions of anything.
They showed one of the old Flash guys.
Yeah.
That guy was an actor
Yeah.
in the Flash show
Probably
when
like
the
a cameo,
Flash
right?
goes to another dimension.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So they took that guy instead of Grant Gustin.
which is a total slap. To
Total
the face.
L. Total L.
No. I mean,
7-2.
we got a very, very brief, potentially was Henry Cavill in like that video scene of like, it was in the very beginning when Alfred's like, we need your help, Flash. And he's like, well, why can't you just call Superman? He's like, no, Superman's busy. And you just see on the TV, like there's a volcano erupting
And
or
you
something.
just like see a small on the TV Superman flying around,
right.
using his laser breath or laser eyes and frost breath to stop a volcano.
The only other time that
he doesn't actually show up on screen.
No, the only other time that Henry Cavill shows up on screen is in the Chrono Dome, and you see a PlayStation 2 version of Henry Cavill with droopy boobs and like a big flabby gut.
When he was trying to, well, it was because it was like the moment when he was fighting the Justice League.
Yeah, it's Flash running through time, and you see that sequence playing out. But literally, there's a screenshot of the internet of this is the last time Henry Cavill will show up as Superman in the DCU.
And it's this like CG monster.
It is awful.
Looks bad. But that was the big like, oh
R.I.P.
no, we're destroying the multiverse, and then you see two of these spheres coming together and just disintegrating, like just like in Marvel when Mr. Fantastic explains in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness that an incursion can occur.
Here's what I was thinking though. This moment in the movie's happening, and I'm like, oh, well, hey, let's light this candle.
Yeah.
Because isn't this what this movie's got to do? It's
Right.
got to destroy everything.
It's got to wipe everything.
Maybe we'll just cancel that Aquaman movie. We'll cut ourselves off ahead of the pass.
Yeah, I mean, going into this movie, this is the last of the Snyderverse.
Right.
And then it's James Gunn's the whole plan, whatever he wants to do.
Right.
So the whole time something's gonna change.
Yeah.
To make it a cohesive story,
Right.
a smooth transition. This is the transition movie.
Yeah.
So they save the day. Barry goes back to his timeline.
Well, he goes back to put the soup or the tomatoes.
So
he put the tomatoes in his mom's cart, and he goes back to take it out of his mom's cart.
And then he got a nice little final conversation with his mom,
which was very
where
sentimental.
he pretended
Yeah.
to be some stranger,
Right.
and they had a nice conversation. and he
Again,
hugged
though, his mom is the perfect human who is going to console some random stranger
Yeah,
in
just-
the grocery store.
I'm like, okay.
I don't know you, but can I just hug you?
Yeah, literally.
And I'm like, okay, if you can keep this scene, but you should have gone back and had her, have an off day with her family as the last time they ever saw her, because that would make this feel a little bit better.
Sure.
It's like an Endgame where Tony Stark goes back in time and he gets to have a conversation with his dad.
Yeah.
And it's like all nice and sentimental because they kind of get to reconcile some things without really knowing they're reconciling.
Right.
I'm like, okay, cool.
Because Tony's dad is a total jerk throughout all the MCU.
And then he just dies.
And then he's dead. So yeah, you're right. There needed to be some dichotomy versus like Barry Allen's mom is literally a perfect human. She's the most happy. She's going to console random strangers in the grocery store.
The marriage is perfect between mom and dad.
They love each other so bad.
Don't you understand? I love you guys so much. I could die happy.
Jeez, Mom, it's just like a normal
today,
Tuesday.
Today, son.
So he takes the soup.
At least Thor's mom knew. At least Thor's mom knew she was gonna die, and she basically said as much to Thor, like, "Yeah, I know what's gonna happen. It's okay. Don't worry about it."
Right.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Same thing. He gets to have his sentimental. What's with superheroes needing to go back in time to piece things together with their parents? We can't do that.
I don't know, man. That's messed up.
You need superpowers to have a nice relationship with your mom or dad, I guess.
So
wow.
Maybe it's
In
just
this
reminding
economy?
you. It's reminding you can't go back. So
Oh,
start here and now.
Oh. But
Shout out to Mom.
I keep shout out to Mom. So we just I keep calling it soup, but it was a can of tomatoes. So he takes the can of tomatoes back. But what does he do, David?
He sneaks the can of tomatoes out of the cart, which he initially put in when he first went back in time.
Right.
He goes to put it back on the shelf, that once empty spot on the low shelf. And then the scene ends. So then we're back in his timeline.
Yep.
Everything's good. His dad is in court.
Things seem normal. He's got a note from Iris saying, "Hey, you bailed. Sorry, I left. I didn't know when you were coming home." And it says, "I'll see you in court."
I waited up
"Oh my
all
gosh.
night for you, and you weren't there.
I'll see you in court. Shoot, it's my dad's court date conveniently today. So then he runs to the courthouse and they're playing his alibi was that he was getting the can of tomatoes at the grocery store. We already know that Bruce cleaned up the footage and he never looked up. He's got no alibi. They're in the courthouse watching the footage, but something's different. In the video, he looks up because he's looking for the can of tomatoes and he reaches at the top shelf and grabs a can. And by looking at the top shelf, he looks right at the security camera and you can see that he was at the grocery store. He was getting a can of tomatoes. His alibi is true and he's an innocent man.
And the whole courtroom, or did they clap or gasp?
They clasp. So we realize Barry, in his infinite wisdom, said, "I'm not changing anything, but I'm going to change something." So he takes all the tomatoes and takes them from the low shelf to the high so that his dad's face would show up on the camera. And his dad is a free man.
Dang.
So he didn't change anything, Sean, except he did. And what happens?
But it's not a big deal. He changed something that would affect his future. It doesn't affect his past.
Right.
Big deal.
And at this point, your butt's on fire in your seat because you're like, this is it. This is the transition. He changed something. This is James Gunn's universe now.
Gunderson.
He walks out of the courtroom and it's Zack Snyder on his knees and they're just about to take him down.
It's just an execution of Zack
Oh my
Snyder.
gosh. So Barry walks out. He gets a call from Bruce Wayne. "Yo, Bruce, I haven't talked to you in so long. I can't wait to see you and I'll talk to you soon." He's like, "Oh no, Barry, don't worry. I'm pulling up right now." And he's like, "What?" And you see this supercar pull up and you could tell in the phone call
It's not Ben Affleck.
that was not Ben Affleck's voice. Who is it's
Oh
that
my God.
it's that SpongeBob meme.
It's like,
is it gonna be Christian Bale?
Is it like, is it Nolan? It doesn't. You're listening. Is it the Nolan Batman theme playing?
Is this?
Is it Kiss from a Rose?
Is it Robert
Seal?
Pattinson?
Pattinson?
No, it can't be because we know James Gunn has his own plans for a Batman. Is this it? Is this the introduction to the new Batman that's coming?
Are they going to show us the new Batman? Oh my gosh. It's definitely not Ben Affleck. He changed it. The can. It's different.
The door opens.
Who is it? What is happening?
Paparazzi surrounds him. We don't know.
Oh, Bruce Wayne, who are you? I don't want to say.
Wait, which one is going to...
Who wants to say?
Well,
George Clooney.
What?
Oh.
And at this point I said...
I hope you like pain.
I hate George Clooney Batman. So
everybody does.
Well, he's
not super pumped.
He's Batman and Robin, which is like the worst. Worst.
So we know James Gunn has plans for a Batman Robin movie.
He sure does.
Now, does this mean George Clooney is the Batman? No, I sure hope not.
No.
But
I like that George Clooney couldn't even be bothered to shave for the filming.
He doesn't give a dang, dude.
I took that as nothing more than just like a little goofy cameo.
Right.
But also to give the Flash the one F word for the movie.
I totally missed that. I wasn't paying attention.
I didn't even get it.
Maybe because I was saying it in my head.
Yeah, I said it out loud.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just thought that was like almost a comedic twist. Which is just awkward because knowing how everything ends, you really wished it was something more profound and meaningful, and like something very distinctly, clearly saying the Gunn universe is changing everything going forward. Here's how you know.
Right.
But like having George Clooney come back doesn't really do that.
Exactly.
So I did see online there was like 4 other alternate endings that were going to happen.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
So I'll have to look it up.
But
I just saw it today.
But then the film also, you sit through the credits and there is an end credit scene as well, which is also not anything.
So yeah, we're thinking, okay, end credit. Maybe he goes back, moves the tomatoes back,
or moves him somewhere else. So like, okay, we got to fix the George Clooney thing now. Like that was a good joke.
He just kills George Clooney.
It's like it's like the Deadpool 2 ending.
One of the things that Reverse Flash does, his like signature move, is he will vibrate his hand straight through your chest and then stop and take your heart.
Would that hurt his hand though?
No, he's good.
That's how he kills the mom.
It'll just kill you. Yeah, that's how the mom dies.
I thought it was with a knife.
Well, that's
retcon.
Exactly. So it's like obviously he's got to fix his George Clooney thing, right? That was funny, but you got to fix it.
You always got to fix George Clooney.
Not necessarily, because it's just this crappy scene of him and Aquaman walking out of a bar, and they're yoking it up.
Jason Momoa drunk
is
on set, and they just were like, "Well, let's film something anyway, I guess."
So then he falls into this massive puddle on the sidewalk, and he's like, "Oh, it's fine. I live here. It's cool." And then there's some bystanders standing there, and Ezra says like, "Oh no, he's fine. Yeah, he's fine." Which I did not understand what was happening.
The only thing that is of note in the scene is it cuts to them, and it's clear that they're coming out of a bar. It's clear they've been having a conversation with each other about the Flash's experiences and time travel and all this stuff.
Right.
And all these different timeline variants of different heroes. And he says to him, like, yeah, but in every timeline, you're Aquaman.
Right.
I'm like, except for the timeline where he's not even born.
Except for the only other timeline we saw.
Yeah, but anyway, he's like, yeah, but you're always Aquaman. And I'm like, oh, okay, so they're saying Jason Momoa will be Aquaman even in the Gunn universe.
Right.
Or they're saying at least Jason Momoa will be cast in the Gunn universe and it'll be all fine. Don't worry. You didn't see anything.
Yeah. So that was, I booed.
Oh my gosh.
I booed in the theater.
You were that guy.
Yeah,
After the end credit.
I hated that end credit scene.
Everybody was kind of like, and I went, oh.
What's an end credit scene you wish they would have done?
The Flash vibrating his hand through George Clooney's chest.
Yeah, but then they would just kill. But then it would just be like introduce him in this scene and then like sit through 5 minutes of credits for him to kill him.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know. I had no expectation, but I just didn't expect that.
Honestly,
I would have been interested. I would have loved if it was they just used the end credit scene from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The legendary Star-Lord.
I wish it was just showing Reverse Flash killing his mom.
Right.
Because
to set up the next Flash
like
villain.
I said, rookie Flash versus vet Flash, it's like a loop of like Barry went back in that timeline and realized he needs to kill that mom.
Right.
So he is the murderer of that Flash's mom.
Right.
So that Flash wants to go to his timeline to kill his mom.
Oh my god.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
They do the same thing to each other.
In the show, they are both each other's origin story.
No.
It's like Flash creates Reverse Flash, and then Reverse Flash creates Flash.
It's a loop.
It is a loop.
They're a dyad.
A dyad in the Speed Force.
Dang. Just like Obi-Wan and Rey.
Just like
That's not it.
I don't know.
Just like what's the Spot and Miles Morales.
Yeah. See, again,
the bagel event.
Across the Spider-Verse.
So what were these alternative endings you were talking
I'm
about?
trying to find them.
You know what'd be interesting? How about this? George Clooney gets out of the car. Oh, I'm Bruce, and I have somebody I want you to meet. And then stepping out of the car is James Gunn.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn.
With a gun.
I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different.
And he points it at the Flash.
He's a loser from the future.
And he says,
starts unloading.
And he says, again, we do it again.
Oh my god.
Go back in time and fix what you did. No, I don't know.
It's DC movie creating time. That's all he says.
So when we walked out of this theater, I said to you guys that I've watched a lot of Justice League cartoons. I've watched a lot of Batman cartoons. With the Justice League cartoons, you get a lot of Green Lantern, Batman, Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Hawkman. And
Hawkman?
I would say that I am a much bigger fan of Marvel overall, but I think it's just because of the smashing success of the MCU. I think for me, the MCU is always so great because I go into those movies with no expectation of what that character is.
At this point, they use so many characters that you have not grown up with at all.
I had no idea who the Guardians of the Galaxy even were before I saw that movie.
Sure.
I didn't know Tony Stark's personality. I knew who Iron Man was, didn't know his abilities, didn't know his personality. I didn't know anything about Thor other than from the Marvel video game.
Well, you bring up a good point that we grew up, I had a Batman TV show, I had a Superman TV show, I had a Justice League TV show.
Right.
And then I had a Spider-Man TV show.
Right.
And so I know Spider-Man and his villains.
Yep.
I don't know much else about Marvel besides that.
For sure.
And then I know a lot about DC just through those other things.
I knew who Captain America was, didn't know anything about his story, his background, his villains, anything. So I think all the MCU movies, you go into it with just such a clean slate. And I also think that they absolutely nailed all of their castings. Because even the characters that I went into without a clean slate, like the Spider-Mans, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I mean, like Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. Can you even imagine them picking any other actor? He just completely owned that role.
Yeah.
I guess you could have had, what's his name?
Michael B. Jordan.
No, it's going to be a funny joke when I say it.
Jonathan Majors.
No, Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling as Black Panther?
Yeah, that's what's going around the internet right now.
I saw that. That's why I knew what you were talking about.
Not a bad idea.
But I feel like Marvel, all their characters, blank slate, and then they nailed the casting. DC, they nailed the casting with Robert Pattinson. Because Batman is the character I know more about than any other character. And I'm confident in saying that.
Did they? Did they nail that casting?
I think they nailed that casting.
I think his Bruce Wayne's a little rough.
I think it's going to get better in the second one. I have to believe that. I have to verbalize it.
I think I've talked about this before. I like Batman.
I have to convince myself.
I like Batman when he's a detective.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't have superpowers. He doesn't need to be fighting supervillains all the time.
But I've also said he is Batman and he pretends to be Bruce Wayne. Like he is 90% Batman.
Right.
And 10% of his life is pretending to be the billionaire playboy. So I don't care if his Bruce Wayne portrayal isn't that great. And I agree.
I don't care about the Bruce Wayne stuff.
Yeah, it really wasn't that great. I thought it was a little off. But I think it'll get better, and I also don't give a dang. But the characters, Henry Cavill, the characters that I knew a lot about, that I didn't have a clean slate with, that I had a preconceived notion of who they were, I feel like DC has not casted very well, and they haven't, I don't know, they just haven't captured the character well for me. For
You got me
what
standing up now. I'm not sitting anymore. I'm standing up.
For what I think the character should be. Like, I have a pretty good idea of who Flash is, and it's not Ezra Miller. And it's like the way he talks, he's not confident in himself. He's like super skittish. He's super obnoxious. 18-year-old version is 10 times worse. I don't know. His Barry Allen just annoys me.
Yeah.
And I honestly...
Then cast a better Barry Allen.
I would say that the Iris West in the TV show is significantly better than the one in the movie.
Way better, yeah.
I said it.
If you could recast the Flash, Barry Allen, who would you choose?
Zac Efron. He's always our answer. I honestly don't know. I'm not good, but I didn't know who Chadwick Boseman was. I didn't know who. I pretty much knew who everybody else.
I'm trying to
think. No, Chris Hemsworth. He was a nobody. That was like his first big role.
In many ways, yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. was saved by Iron Man. He would have been dead.
Dang.
In the parking lot of a Burger King.
I don't think that's how that story
With
goes.
a needle in his arm. Maybe. So pick some random. I mean, Ezra Miller was a random.
So you don't have an answer.
No, dude, I'm not good at that.
Sean, what do you think?
I'm just good at telling you when you screwed up. I'm not good at helping you.
I'd cast you, Dave, as the new Barry Allen.
I'd have fun with that. I would say
You'd have to run a lot, though.
Would you, though? You're just taking long strides, remember?
Yeah.
1,000,000 feet per stride.
It's like, yeah, you like fling your...
It's got like a Doctor Strange element to it. It's pretty lame.
It's like yoga.
I don't like it.
I would say if I was casting the Flash, I would either go Matt's dad.
Wow.
Or... Let me pull up a list of actors.
Shout out to Matt's dad, Barry
Dude,
Allen.
shout out.
Barry. His name is Barry Allen, just so people know. We've got Andrew Garfield. I only see him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of the same character, so you can't...
When you play Spider-Man, you are tainted as forever Spider-Man. You can't play a different superhero. Whereas, like, Chris Evans... He played Human Torch. Like, that's not like a life-defining role. Because Michael B. Jordan also played Human Torch.
Yeah.
And then he played Killmonger.
We've got
Human Torch is just it's just like a pivot moment. Like, all right, I did my Human Torch, now what's the next bigger role?
More like it's a pit.
Oh, no, Sean.
Gotta crawl out of.
Dylan O'Brien.
I don't know who that is. Oh, wait, he's the guy from the Maze Runner?
Yep.
Sure.
The guy who played Adam Warlock, maybe?
No.
No?
He's got those eyebrows.
I think it'd be safe to not try to have people play both DCU characters and
Jack
MCU
Quaid.
characters.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Jack Quaid.
He's the main...
He's the guy from The Boys.
The Boys.
He'd probably
main
work
character
actually
in The
really well.
Boys.
Oh, Homelander?
No, this is what he looks like. He's the one human.
I could see that.
Jack Quaid's cool. You know who's really cool? An up and coming actor who's got something to gain because he's a nobody right now. Nobody's ever heard of him.
Oscar Isaac.
Put him in an awful, ugly suit and call him Apocalypse. Well, throw me in makeup and call me Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. That was excruciating.
Like I said, I can't give you any answer. I can only tell you when they messed up.
All right. Well, let's wrap up our thoughts about.
I think I've
verbalized
verbalized
Flashage.
everything I needed to. I've spoken too many words.
I'd say I found it to be perhaps the most appealing of the DCU films to me.
Yeah, I
As
agree.
far as like,
Not Man of Steel.
I'd probably rewatch that. It's kind of fun. It's not extremely heavy at times.
Right.
Like I can't ask somebody to sit through the Snyder Cut. It's a good movie. I think the Snyder Cut's great, but it's like it's 4 hours of my life.
Right. I just had a hard time when you boil it all down to this. I had a hard time rooting for Ezra Miller as Flash.
Oh man.
And much like the Black Adam movie, I thought the first 45 minutes were just tough to get through.
I kind of feel bad for the film because I think problems with the film are problems outside of the film.
Like what?
Like the relationship we have with Ezra Miller
Ezra, sure.
as an audience, as well as the continuity of this film in a greater scheme of other movies and how it's all kind of not
It's
important
just
anymore.
It's a mess.
So I think the movie was always going to be kind of playing at a major disadvantage. But that said, I thought it was fine. I liked it. I liked it more than Quantumania, I think.
What did you give Quantumania?
Who cares?
Okay.
Probably.
I gave Quantumania 7.5. I gave this a 7.4.
7. Sean's the only one talking positive about it, but he gave us 6. This was all messed up.
What do you want from me? Hey, there's a rating, but then also I can like it.
Sure. All right. Well, that was a great fun time. Big job. Good long combo about the Flash. And I love you boys. And this is fun.
Okay.
And that's going to do it. Thank you for listening. If you have made it this far, you're a legend. I can't believe you.
I am a princess.
I sure am. And you should like, comment, and subscribe to this princess. Tell your mom about it. Tell your Aunt Beatrice. Hey, Beatrice, get on the YouTubes and subscribe. Sean spends way too long editing these. Right. And you should definitely watch his sick edits. Oh, yeah. I made a lot of references, and I'm really hoping he puts all of those video clips in. And he won't, because it's a lot. So we thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on all the major channels. This has been episode 41. We love watching these movies for you guys and breaking them down. We love getting together and just broing out with just ball with my bros. Thank you guys. Peace. I'm just trying to ball with my bros.